Hey, so here's some fairly expensive records. These are originals, very well-regarded albums on well-regarded labels, and for that reason, these are probably going to cost you. But there's a whole wide world out there of records that are just as good as these records, but they don't get the same amount of play and they're not as appreciated. And for that reason, they're also not endlessly reissued by whatever label or featured in YouTube show and tell videos where gray-haired collectors argue over the fidelity and the sound. But what I think is great about collecting LPs is that you can actually go to a record store and you can find things and you can explore music that maybe you weren't aware of. And that's really the impetus for this channel. Right? You don't want me to just show you expensive records. Come on. So what better example than Les McCann's Talk to the People, an unassuming, amazing LP. This is Les McCann armed with a Rhodes piano. The songs are soulful. They are funky. In my opinion, this is some of his best work. Of course, this album, Les McCann's Layers, probably gets more play. This is a DJ record. This is a record big in the hip-hop community. Very innovative. I'd actually like to talk about this more at another time. But for my money, I really like this one. And for $5, if you see this, underrated gem, definitely pick it up. FYI, I normally do needle drops after records, but the YouTube algorithm, the robot, like the copyright is so intense, they will like, for 5 seconds, if you have a copyrighted song, they will like take your video down, and it's just a big hassle, so I can't, unfortunately, I can't do needle drops. Anyway, Cliff Jordan, The Magic Triangle. This record flies under the radar likely because it's on Inner City, and Inner City is not a very well-known label. In my opinion, this is a great album if you like post-bop. So if you're into this, Inner Urge by Joe Henderson, if you're into this, Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage, I think you'll really like this LP. So for $15, if you see this, pick it up. Moonmadness by Camel. Excellent record that flirts with genius. At worst, it gets a little lost, but I go back for this album quite frequently. I'm not a big fan of English prog rock, particularly. I'm not that into Genesis. I often say no to Yes. But this Camel record is great. It really leans into cool guitar work and instrumentation on the Janus label. At times, I think this album sounds a lot like Tame Impala, or rather, Tame Impala sounds like Camel. So for $15, if you see this, check it out. Primal Roots by Sergio Mendes. This is not your grandma's Sergio Mendes record. This is traditional Brazilian folk, really beautiful. I mean, I can't say how beautiful this record is. It's Mendes escaping that Cabana Boy bossa nova fare and doing something really culturally significant. Very cool record, percussive, tribal sounds, right up there with some of the best expensive Brazilian LPs. If you see this for $4, please buy this record. Beyond the Blue Horizon by George Benson. Of course, this is on CTI. Throughout the 70s, Benson would have a prolific relationship with CTI. As time went on, in his catalog, he'd get a little slicker. Great cover, by the way. And by the time you get here, this isn't even on CTI, this is really smooth jazz. Now, if you see this record for $5, even though it is a smooth jazz R&B record, I would definitely pick this up. This is an incredible record. It's so good. But if you're new to George Benson, all his records are cheap. I would recommend starting out with this one. I think it's that nice. It has a nice balance to it and offers and shows you what George Benson has to offer. So check it out. The Pink Panther soundtrack by Henry Mancini. Of course, Mancini, the great master composer. And while the modern era perhaps does not call for Mancini in terms of taste, musical taste, right? Everything has to be spiritual jazz. This is still one that, in my opinion, everyone should have in their collection. The arrangements are beautiful. The music is just beautiful. Check this out if you see it for $5. Donovan. I think this record's called Open Road. This is my personal favorite Donovan record. Recorded in the 70s, it sort of leaves behind that late 60s zeitgeist that sort of defined Donovan. That got a little hackneyed and corny. you know, the hippy dippy thing. And I love Hurdy Gurdy Man and Mellow Yellow. Those are great albums. But this one is a little more rock forward. I think it's a little more mature. Very underrated. I don't think it sold well at the time. So if you see this one, it's under $10. Get this record. This is great. Jazz Samba. This is Stan Getz and Luis Bonfa. You'll see these records around. They all have this kind of artwork on the front. I think I have all of them. I can't find the rest of them. But these are all really great bossa nova records. Yeah, I mean, Luis Bonfa is the master. If you see these, pick them up. Just great spaghetti dinner music on Verve. That's all I got for today, folks. Until next time.